Well, the FOMC isn't the only central bank making moves this week. Several central banks issued interest rate decisions this morning. Joining us now with the latest is Yahoo Finance reporter Ines Ferre. Hey, Ines.
Hey, Rochelle. Well, let's start with the Bank of England. In a 5-4 vote, the BOE voted to keep interest rates unchanged and not to hike today. This is a significant decision because it was a very narrow vote, and 4 committee members wanted to hike by another 25 basis points. Now, the UK has had some very aggressive a slowdown with inflation. Part of the decision why the rates were kept unchanged is because of the slowdown with inflation. And the UK has had a lot of inflation, higher than other European countries, and it's been sticky inflations. Now, the Bank of England has been increasing rates aggressively since December of 2021. So a significant decision to keep those rates unchanged. Meanwhile, the Swiss National Bank also left its rates unchanged, ending a streak of 5 consecutive increases. Other European countries opted for rate hikes, with Sweden's central bank raising its rates to 4%, in line with what economists had been expecting. The Scandinavian country has seen its currency slide against the euro in the last couple of months, and central bank officials said inflationary pressures in Sweden are still too high. Now, Norway raised its rates by 25 basis points, leaving the door open for another rate hike this year. Meanwhile, Hong Kong's monetary authority decided to leave its rates unchanged in lockstep with the U.S. Now, Hong Kong's currency is pegged to the U.S. dollar, so it follows the Fed's lead closely. And it's important really to note that some countries have moved in tandem with the Federal Reserve to combat inflation and also to protect their own currencies. Higher rates in the U.S. tend to make the U.S. dollar stronger. Now, the question as we approach the last quarter of 2023 is, are the rate hikes over or pretty much over? And will the Fed and others be cutting rates next year? Now, there was a recent poll done by Reuters that shows that nearly 20% of economists expect that one more rate increase this year in the U.S. And of those polled, a majority saw rate cuts sometime next year, likely in the April to June period, no earlier than that. Rochelle.
Interesting to see how different central banks are approaching this. Obviously, have their own internal issues as well, but interesting to see how they're not quite in lockstep at the moment. Big thank you there to our very own Ines Ferre.